I'm Grayson Quay, and I'm going to be your host for this podcast, this YouTube channel, this thing, whatever it is and whatever it turns out to be. I'm a freelance writer, but I'm also a lot of other things. I'm a husband, a son, an employee, a neighbor, a friend, a church member. And most of those things, the most important things about me, about my identity, are the communities I belong to and the communities that I've chosen, that I haven't chosen. And that's what I want this podcast to be about. So it's called The Bench, and the reason I called it The Bench, there's a little bit of a backstory to that, and I'm going to tell that here, and I'll probably allude to it in future episodes. But during COVID, especially during the kind of early months of the quarantine, I was out of work for a while, and I realized that I didn't really know any of my neighbors. I've lived in the DC area for about 4 years now, and this is my third apartment that I've lived in the area. And in my first two, I didn't know any of my neighbors either, at least not beyond kind of knowing their first name and being able to say hi, pretty much. And here I kind of decided that if we were going to get through this, we would need to get to know each other. Since none of us were going out or really seeing anyone else. The apartment complex I live in is kind of a garden apartment complex with these 3-story kind of walk-up buildings that are around courtyards, and there are no balconies. So if you want to get some fresh air, you have to actually go downstairs and go outside. So I was noticing in the courtyard that people would take their dogs out and then go right back inside, or they'd go outside and smoke a cigarette and go right back inside, and there was nowhere to sit down in the courtyard. And so one day, in a flash of inspiration colliding with just me being stir-crazy and unemployed, I went to Home Depot and bought a bunch of wood, looked up a design online, and built a bench. I had no previous carpentry experience, really, at least not much, beyond kind of building sets for plays. But it was a pretty simple design, and I was able to do it. And that bench is the kind of logo for this channel and for this podcast. And it worked better than I could have ever hoped. My wife and I have become really, really close with all of our neighbors, and it's been an amazing experience. It's been a blessing. It's a very wide range of people, and that's one thing I think I love about getting to know your neighbors, and why I'd encourage everyone to get to know their neighbors, because your neighbors are a group of people that you didn't choose, right? They're just the people you happen to live near. And I think it's a good challenge and also a very potentially rewarding thing to get to know those people. So, yeah, over the past few months, we've done a lot of fun stuff together. We've gone to get dinner and drinks. We've hung out on summer nights and just listened to music. And we've also been through some difficult times together, particularly someone in our courtyard tragically took his own life over the summer, and you'll hear more about that on an episode. And we really kind of banded together to get through that as well. And I, all of my new neighbor friends have been really supportive of me in doing this project as well. So as I continue with this, hopefully it's enjoyable for people, it's edifying, and it's instructive, and it makes you think. I think we live in a society where a lot of people don't know their neighbors, and where a lot of people are really starving for community. Community can take a lot of forms, obviously. It can take the form of families, both biological families and what you'd call found families or forged families. It can take the form of faith communities, neighbors, people who band together around a particular hobby or around a shared experience. And ideally, I'd like to explore all of those and more as this goes forward. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have any suggestions for me, please reach out to me. You can find my contact info in the description. And yeah, stay safe out there, and I hope that none of you are lonely.